not a sufficient amount of balance return. I think the number right now is 47, and we need 132. And also tonight we're graced with a couple of special guests, and I wanted to start first of all with your county supervisor. Come to our meetings. We talk to the community a little bit about something that's going on in the community, specifically the development in the area, right? So Monica, thank you again for coming to talk to the board.
I'm going to close the doors so the poor people over here don't have to hear me. Unfortunately, you guys will. So my name is Monica Brown. Some of you I know because of teaching at Green Valley. Green Valley number 2, which is no longer there anymore, and then Green Valley number 3 on Gold Hill. So I'm your county board of supervisors. City of Fairfield, for reasons I have not figured out, want to put 400 homes in the quarry. So the quarry is right up here at Nelson Hill. Now Nelson Hill is basically kind of owned by 3 different people. The county had part of it, the Quarry Land Trust, and I know it's called something, but I don't remember what that is, and then the city. So 3 different people have jurisdictions up there. So what was interesting, and and I know Scott was at that board meeting, but you weren't there 7 years ago when they brought this forward, is that all of us take Cordelia Road. We know that. How are they going to do 400 homes? And the gentleman who was talking about it at the city council meeting refused to use the word quarry. It's a quarry. It is buried down. So how is that going to work out? Let's just say there's 2 people at home. That's 800. Where's the traffic going to go? How are you going to get it up the hill and down the hill? It makes no sense to me. I wanted to bring it to your attention because we thought we had killed it when we had a luncheon at Honest House. And Harry Price was there, a couple other people were there, and you were there. And just to let you guys know what was going on, it blew me away. So the city of Fairfield is, well, as usual, kind of irritating me. Cordelia. Okay, so you have the unincorporated area, which is the Cordelia that is on the other side. So the weeds that's finally got cut, because I've only been working 7 years to get a weed ordinance, which we still don't have. That portion comes down, so that's the unincorporated. Then as you're going on Cordelia Road and you get up and over where the bonbons are, then you get into still the unincorporated area. It's unincorporated until you get to
the warehouses?
Yeah, the ranch. I'm trying to think of the name. Hale Ranch, thank you. So Hale Ranch is the dividing line. So on the other side, where all that growth is going in, where Budweiser is, and Budweiser is here because of Lake Berryessa, because it has the best water. That's why Budweiser came here, 35, 40, 50 years ago? So all of that area is the city of Fairfield. Now, it is not my fault that the city of Fairfield has not done their due diligence in planning commission. My opinion. I don't like what they did on Business Center by having warehouses and some hotels and the very expensive apartments, which our kids are never going to be able to afford to live there anyway. As well as the fact that they have not built roads, in my opinion, to take care of the new growth of those big trucks. You get caught behind them, always just go down Memphis size, because going down Business Center is too crazy. So back to what's happening up here. I don't know what the deal is, but at that particular meeting, the city said, well, we just want to work with the county. Because, see, in Suisun Valley, where some of you might go and enjoy the wine, that's unincorporated. So why does the city now all of a sudden want to be friends with us? Not to say anything, because Scott will probably say something, but it scares the hell out of me.
When was this meeting with the city and the county talking about putting the 400
Well,
homes
we
up?
didn't know. I just happened to be there.
Okay. When did that happen?
So 2 or 3 meetings ago, I'd have to go back and look at my notes. I have my staff look at all the agendas, whether it's city councils or school boards or whatever, to keep me informed of what's happening. And so all of a sudden, the city decided that they want to work with the county. I'm very cognizant that doesn't sound really good, because what they want to do for my part, Erickson's Ranch, they want to just take and just put more warehouses there. That is prime ag land. The Ericksons, along with Chris Engel's family, they want to put in more apple trees, and they want to have a business using not only apples and the pumpkins. If you get my newsletter, you've been seeing the growth of little pumpkins. Anyway, and so I'm not sure what the game plan is with the city, but the county is not happy with that. They did not come and talk with us ahead of time. They just showed up.
So, because I sat down with the developer and the city of Fairfield regarding that development, and what I was told by the city was, unless the city general plan, which is going to be approved in 2024, annexes Nelson Hill into the city of Fairfield, that development cannot even go forward.
But the fact that they're discussing it, and the fact they didn't talk to the county about it, and they have to go through LAFCO in order for that to ever happen. And right now, I can't specifically say how I would vote, but the fact that I'm talking about it, that I'm not happy about it, might kind of give you an idea how I feel about that.
Right.
Because
I think we're all in the same agreement that we don't want it to happen.
Exactly.
But I was under the impression that unless the city annexes that hill, that development can't happen.
Well, it depends on how and what kind of agreements, like sometimes behind the scenes, get done. It shouldn't, but part of it is still the city.
Okay.
So the question then what's going to happen? And I just want to let you guys know, because maybe somebody here, you guys can alternate as to who's going to keep track of what's happening at the city. But my contention is the city of Fairfield has enough on its plate where they can deal with their own in different places for infill if their goal is they want to put in, quote, affordable. So I haven't had a chance to check the corner here. That bothers me, because I always think of San Bruno, because everybody knows there's a gas line right underneath those apartments going in.
And those weren't supposed to be apartments. Those were supposed to be businesses, condos with business underneath, and now it's an apartment townhome. So the city, Scott's looking into that to find out how that happened.
Another thing about the development of the homes up there is the road that goes up there, and the road and how it comes down. There's a blind left turn onto Cordelia Road from the coming down traffic, which is going to be a nightmare. And there's a lot of work and construction and pile drivers that are going to be going on a long time.
Which is, I want to let you guys know.
And I live right behind it.
Right, exactly. And I know a lot of you guys do, but I want you guys to be aware of this. Has been discussed. I thought it had died 7 years ago.
It's a new developer. It's a different developer than 7 years ago.
Well, the point, since it didn't happen then, and I just let you know that none of this can happen unless the county, since it's county land. Okay, so we're okay with us in terms of what our goals are to make sure that we have affordable housing in the county. I just wanted you guys to understand, all I can think of is 800 more cars.
Yeah, we don't want it.
Right. But for some reason, if I hadn't talked with Anna and she said, why don't you come speak? I'm not sure how many of you guys would even have known this was going on. And so I'm being cynical, I know, because I've been teaching too long and doing this too long. To me, that was wrong. They didn't reach out to the county. They didn't let you guys know, hey, by the way, we're going to have this discussion. If anything, all of you guys should have been aware of it.
It should have been a mailer.
Well, it should have been something. Or let me know and I can send it out or something like that. So we'll deal with that in a moment. So I got 2 emails. I just want to give you a heads up. So you know that Lopes Road is closed because of the fact that the whole area is sliding. And who knew that Venetia's water was underneath that? I didn't. So then it took out one of the lanes, right? Because the whole thing is sliding. Guys, you guys remember when Red Top was sliding? Does everybody remember that? Yeah. And McGarry was not available for about 10 years before the city finally fixed it. So Gavin Newsom finally declared us a disaster area. which allowed us to get FEMA money. And now we have to work on the project as to what are we going to do, how that's all going to get set up, do the plans, then it goes to an RFP, which is request for proposal. Then we get a construction group that'll come in and make it all better, and it'll probably be about a year. So I've been talking to everybody, including Gary Mindy and Mike Thompson, that on a given day when it's school, I have 4,000 kids out there. I'm not talking Melba Monday. I'm talking Oak Brook, Rodriguez, Green Valley, and Cordelia Hills. I have about 4,000 kids and some staff in there too. I don't have another way out if there's a fire.
Oh, wow.
So I'm hoping that that's going to keep pushing all of that, because we don't have another way out. Think about it, guys. All we have is one way with 680. And if we're lucky, maybe come the other way with 680. How is that all going to work out? So just I'm keeping eyes on that one too. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys heads up what's going on. If you are not receiving my weekly newsletter, email me and I can put you on. And if you don't want to get it, that's okay too. It won't hurt my feelings. Yes.
Have they given any kind of projection on how long it's going to take to get that disaster fixed?
It's a year, probably going to take a year. So on 680, and then I get off and I think it's the first one is Parish or Marsh. Parish. Okay, so that's because I always go the back way to check on, are the guardrails still up? Has anybody been dumping trash? Some folks let me know that there was a RV that was parked. Guys, remember that? I don't know if you remember before this happened, which I was aware of, but because we were having issues with flooding, it kind of got put on the back burner before we were finally able to move it off. So, so I try to keep track so I can get around my district, which is South Vallejo, Mare Island, Benicia, and here without having to go on the freeway. So I can keep track of all of that, make sure that it's all safe. So, all right.
Monica?
Yes, dear.
So on Cordelia Road, essentially across from the cement plant,
Yes.
down a little bit
Yes.
further out, there's a I don't know what the correct terms now are, but a homeless person that's living back in the
Back in there,
there's
yes.
a blue Honda that's
Yeah,
always
it's
parked
always
there.
parked there.
I go by sometimes at night and I see a sort of campfire or something going on in there. That's gonna end up burning down our house.
Yep, it's going
Again.
to.
Who do
Yeah.
we report that to?
Then that I always just send it out to the sheriff and see what we can do to have that happen. It's interesting to me that the Hornbonds haven't contacted me on touch base with getting a hold of them and seeing what the issue is. It's because it's also the rail track, the track goes through there.
Mhm.
But yeah, no,
He's been there for months.
he's been there for months. We also have the issue with under the underpass, right, with right there by Bridgeport and over here with the rains and stuff like that. The Sioux have it in Cordelia. We also have where they live underneath the bridges too. So yeah.
No, Monica,
Yes.
so if we oppose this quarry construction, who do we voice our opposition?
Well, you
Yeah,
got Scott right now. He's gonna be talking, he's your city council person representing this area, so he was asked to come. I will keep you informed. Because again, there's a process, so they can't just come in and do what they wanna do. They have to go through LACO, which is a way of what they have to bring it to the forefront, and then the board of supervisors has to agree as to whether or not we're gonna allow that to be city property. And I'll say right now, I don't think there's 3 votes to make that happen. I'll let it go at that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Somebody was it? Oh, yeah. Also, so my work channel is grammatic is me, M-E, Brown, at SolanaCounty.com. Email me the email, and then we send it every Friday at 5 o'clock. Say Thanksgiving weekend, and then the 2 weekends of Christmas. So I let you guys know everything that I know of things that are going on, such as the ABAG, which is the Association of Bay Area Governments, which graciously gave us Regional Measure 3, which raised the tolls, even though we voted against it. We didn't have enough no votes. Wants to have a regional measure raising, and I'm assuming it has to be sales tax, because I don't think they could do this on property tax, in order to raise something like anywhere from 10 to $20 billion for housing. I'll keep you informed. I'm not sure if it's November of 2024. I haven't quite heard yet on that. So I'll keep you informed on that. Because you can only tax so much. And I'm also going to be sending out a letter because Scott Wiener wants to raise the tolls even greater. So I think it's this coming fall or this winter of 24 is when the tolls go up an additional $1. I don't do tolls because I get to live and work in the area. He wants to raise an additional $1.
It's gonna be 950.
What is it?
950.
Yeah, he wants to raise it in order to have money for BART.
And they want to fund it BART, San Mateo, Muni, AZ Transit, and
Yep.
BTA.
Yep. It's bad enough that what we pay is at least 12 to 13% of the tolls, but we don't get 12 to 13% of the funds. And then here's the other thing too. So, okay, real fast. So Highway 37, you can thank Bill Dodd for this one. He decided that he would be the person to have the bill to make Highway 37 a toll lane, right? Because God forbid that, every way to get out of Solano County has to be, a way to pay. So what they're thinking about right now is having the smart train, the one that's Sonoma Marin, way up there, have it come down and be part of the Highway 37 that they want to make a toll road to eventually click into the rail over here to go over to pick up Capitol Corridor. I'm just sharing, guys. First off, that's stupid. Second off, will be very much like Contra Costa that had to pay for almost 50, 60 years before they got parked. So I'll keep you informed on that. They want to put in a bike lane, and that's fine, except that costs money, but they don't have to pay the toll. Not to be rude to people who ride their bikes, but why are people on Highway 37? Because they need to take their truck with them because they're doing construction work, they're doing whatever. So that's a whole other issue with Highway 37. It shouldn't, like the Navy's been here with us, since the Civil War? Why didn't that all happen?
Okay, so is this going to be toll rolled out here on 80?
Okay, so what's going to happen on 80 is that they're putting in an a toll lane right there. The goal is to have every lane in California, not just here, but down in San Diego, Imperial County, Sacramento, that every lane will be a toll lane. Every lane
Another
will
solar
be a
farm.
toll lane.
You say on pay to drive?
Yes.
So we just gonna have.
But you didn't know that?
I hadn't heard that before, no.
Are you kidding me? It started almost 12 years ago.
And then it be right, so from the beginning of Solano County all the way to 505,
just like East
and eventually it'll keep going. So what I'm talking about is that's the discussion that ABAG, again, Association of Bay Area Governments, plus with the same thing in San Diego called Sandbag, Imperial County, that in order to get people out of their cars, every lane will be a toll lane. Here's my concern. You can get around this area without having to go on a freeway. So what is that going to mean in terms of me as a county person making sure I have enough money to make sure the roads are still viable?
It looks a bit good,
Well, by Rodriguez, those homes are over $1 million. Who the F is paying for that? Where are our kids? I couldn't afford my home anymore. Used to be able to, you could buy a home on a teacher's salary. When I started teaching way back when, for many of you weren't born. But anyway, way back when. But I don't know. I had no idea, guys. But yeah, so this one's that's what's coming in right there. It'll be very similar, like when you go down to on 680. I don't drive that much.
680, 580, 101,
Yep.
880.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I usually take the train. The thing with BART, I want to go back to BART and what Senator Wiener wants to do. They refuse to look at the fact that weekends are where the greater use of BART is, and Monday through Friday is not, but they refuse to have the trains come every hour, something along those lines. They have the last 2 years, they have passed a deficit budget. I don't know how they can legally do that, but that's the BART people. So
Okay, so the goal was not to be a downer. Wear pink and go see Barbie. You'll have a good time. We won't take all the Kens. It'll be okay, but you know, if you want something fun, you can just go and have a good time. It was really a lot of fun, but we're pink. All right, so that's kind of, yeah, I feel really bad. But anyway, I want to let you guys know, and that's what my newsletter will tell you. The different stuff that's going on around here scares me.
Well, I just read in the Mercury News today that in San Jose, low income is now defined as 101,000.
Yes, so I'm never gonna make it. I'm still there. Yeah.
Low income is considered 101,000.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
making 101,000 or less.
Yep.
You're in
Well,
low income.
that's where that family
And that's in
of
San
five
Jose.
or
Yes.
four.
There was no, just.
I think it was just considered a family of maybe 4 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
they didn't.
Yeah. But you can't, yeah.
I just.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
Have you heard about the new homes in
That's right.
Vacaville that
That's
are
true.
selling for
Good.
173,000?
Well, and that's very similar to the ones up here at
They're
Red Top.
smaller, but
Yeah.
they're still, new under $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, it looks like they're gonna be doing some work on Red Top. Maybe Scott knows that. I'm assuming they're gonna maybe expand Red Top over.
Isn't they already started the construction?
Yes.
I see the crew people the other day.
Yeah, it's construction next week, but here's my concern. And that section of the freeway right there where McGarry is.
And they're only expanding up to that. Because the right lane is gonna be only to the eastbound 80.
Yeah, we can never go west from where we.
And that's
Yeah.
1 year project.
And
That's what I heard.
it's gonna be a mess. I'm just, yeah. So, yeah. So for me, because I like to say Rodriguez High lives near me, I have to leave at 7 in the morning when I have a board meeting to make sure I get out of here. At least the district, and I say this tongue in cheek, at least change the start and ending times. So not everybody was on at the same time. So that helped.
Nobody liked the new bell schedule for the schools.
No.
I know. Well, I don't believe in what they do at Rodriguez anyway. I don't believe in what is it called? 2-hour classes, block schedule. I don't believe in block schedule. I taught math. It doesn't work with math and foreign language. But anyway, that's a whole nother issue.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. But doing what I can. All right. So you're the chair, so I'm going to sit down now.
Yeah, can we give Scott a time so that he can talk to us too about what he knows
Right.
in regards to that housing development? Yeah, that would be great.
Homeless.
Anyway.
Thank you, Monica.
No,
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming. Oh, so you have 4 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Scott, would you mind standing up here? Because we got people online.
So there, I looked at your 7 years ago, so I don't know. There are certainly disagreements I have with you on where things have gone. The subdivision has been no secret at all. And I've met with developers in the city. So I blame myself for not reaching out because if I'm not sharing it, so I just want to publicly apologize to you. I need to share more.
Hey, Scott, can you get a little closer to the microphone?
Here because they can't hear you online.
Thank you.
Right here.
Oh, no, I'm just apologizing to Monica. I've met with the developer a couple of times. That's nothing that's going to happen overnight. We would still have to have it annexed into the city, but the fact that Monica and I haven't had these conversations is a downfall on my part. But the developer, my issue with it immediately was because there was a lot of people that thought, well, the developer's got the rights once they annex it. He's got every right to build that. It's not quite true. We get to look at it and we get to scrutinize, those 400 homes. Where are they going to go? What's the ingress egress going to be? How are they going to? I mean, there's a lot to talk about before it even gets to a council vote. So that is, in my opinion, that's way down the road, and the county might not even annex it anyway. So that was.
And we met with the developer, and prior to meeting with the developer, we put it out on the ranch group as soon as we were aware that the developer was interested, and we asked for anyone's input that was willing to give input, and we brought all of the concerns to the developer as well, letting him know of all of the concerns that everyone who responded had.
And
So-
that's where I'm very heavy into my district, and that's my district line. So I've had conversations about Cordelia, that's Cape Patrice's district. I have my own opinions about those warehouses. But, you know, we're trying, you know, things are changing. Things are getting more crowded, populations are growing, you know, traffic is getting a lot worse. Certainly, I live on Washington Street in downtown Fairfield. I get, you know, speeders 50, 60 miles an hour. And then when school left out, I live on the same street as Army. I don't, you know, there's just certain times that I won't go out. But, you know, I understand the Cordelia traffic concerns. And, you know, I'm here to help. We are in districts now, but, you know, we still work for the whole city. But when it comes to the ranch, I'm pretty dialed in there. So, you know, if you were talking about having some liaison or something, I'll be that liaison. I mean, I'll keep you abreast certainly what's going on. There's no secrets. It's all transparent. The guys show us plans and stuff. If it's something that we want to even discuss right now, I don't think so. But that was mine. I'm just going to kind of touch on the ranch a little bit. But if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
Can you talk about the creek and the
Yeah, the creek is, we had to determine, if you want to give a little background, because I didn't go out there. I know it's back behind the.
So by the emergency vet, there's a pipe, a drainage pipe that empties into our creek, and it's leaking some kind of pollutant. We don't know what it is, but it looks very oily and thick and nasty. And so Sharon reported it to Scott, and he's gotten in contact with people to try to get that worked out, but it's part county, part city.
So that's the
So they-
First time hearing about it.
Okay.
I'm not.
That one I heard about a week.
Okay, but yeah, but thank you for that, because I can have resource management come out.
No, I'll include
You'll
you on
start,
those emails.
okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
so then we're both on the, I mean, whenever it deals with the rant or with, you know, where our districts cross each other, I'll just start including them.
Okay.
Because I do it with, when I
I'll
talk
send
about
you the
something in
pictures so
Cordelia,
you
I
have
include pictures. Yes. And that's all for me, unless you guys have questions.
I think that was all right. But have we been having issues with homeless again?
Just the one that Jay brought up.
Well, and that's a county.
Yeah, that's a county issue. That's not in the ranch. So I think the homeless has been, yeah, pretty on top of the homeless.
Yeah, and Valentina's, believe it or not, she's on it quickly, so I'll leave some of my cards up here.
Thank you.
Just one quick thing. I rarely see any police patrol in our area at all. Is there any way to increase police patrol?
There's rarely any crime. So, but yes, they do.
Are you telling me they
So now they have.
We need a call when we see something, because we get the police response is based off our calls for service. So if people are seeing suspicious activity, but they're not reporting it, then it looks as though our neighborhood is perfect. And so they don't send out patrol.
But they've gone to beats now. So I could set that up if you wanted to. I could come out there with the beat officer and meet one night. And introduce
That would be
them.
great.
They literally have their own district now with their sergeant and the officer. And so I can certainly introduce you to that beat.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to mention, and this came from the fire marshal of the county and Fairfield Fire Division, is that because of where we're located, we can count on a 7-minute response time. That's unacceptable. Somebody could be dead by the time they show up, and that used to be my strong suit back in the day, where maybe 7 years ago, and nothing's changed. Now, the 7 minutes is too long.
That's something we could talk about. I mean, you have an open dialogue going, so I'm happy to look into that for you, for sure.
Is there any chance of getting some kind of camera put out the corner of Link and mounting those? Because there's a 4-way stop sign there, and people come flying down.
Are the streets private? Are the streets private?
No.
And they come flying down Link from Pittman to Cordelia Road,
And then flew.
and they fly back to that stop sign.
And then they all asked through the whole back.
They don't stop at all.
Yeah, the stop signs are just suggestions.
Yeah. The other, actually, so many people just run right through the stop sign.
I have 3 of them run that stop sign at Cordelia Road and Link. I'm sitting on Link.
Yeah, it's a bypass through from 680 to
Right.
get
Peabody
traffic
all the way
and
to
get
Peabody.
I live on a bypass street.
Yeah.
Well,
I get it. Yeah. Yeah, but we could certainly, I can talk to patrol and
because occasionally there is a patrol car sitting on Mountain Meadows watching that four-way intersection, but that's very rarely.
Well, you probably see some county out there too. You know, 'cause there's
The
some
sheriff
county-
only sit at the link and
Right, they
Cordelia.
go out on the, yeah, so it's
That's
kind of
only-
a crossover area right there. But
Oh, they've sat outside the park as well and watched the intersection of Lincoln and Mountain Meadows, but very, very infrequently.
yeah,
I was out there today.
happy to set up a meeting. You have to come to one of these HOA meetings.
Right,
You know,
we
give-
wrapped our,
give them 20 minutes.
National Night Out is
Mhm.
Tuesday, right?
Mhm.
It's a week from tomorrow is National Night Out.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott, also for coming to every single event that we've had.
Yeah.
He's been there at every single one.
You guys
He's,
are helping me.
talking with people and just staying in touch with the community.
We'll be out there.
I would like to piggyback on the last, if you guys will email me what the streets are that you're talking about, the sheriff does have some money, because I know we're doing some work in Homemakers, which is one of my areas in the Lego area, and see about putting in some of the license readers. So send me the ones that are in the county, so just send it to me, we'll figure it out. But I don't know if there's any kind of.
Maybe we can work together there, if it crosses into the city.
Right.
That's part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we're
Cement.
Can we call the meeting to?
Yeah, so we do the.
Can I get some- Jason, I can read all this if you get a.
You want to do the traditional method and have it on.
Yes.
homeowners forum?
Could we please?
You want to do it now? Or you want to do it
Yeah.
as we've been doing?
No, let's,
Okay.
okay, let's just do it the way we've been doing it. That's fine.
Okay, got it. Thanks again, everybody, for coming to the meeting
Limit
tonight.
time.
Yeah.
We'll proceed with the agenda. If anyone needs a copy of it, I have it over here. Does everybody have it? You all right? And what we've been doing over the past few meetings, it seems to work a little better, is we used to have an open homeowners forum at the beginning of the meeting with anybody that has concern. We could have a chance to talk to the board. We still want to give everybody that chance, but we'll kind of go into the agenda items and then give people an opportunity to comment after each agenda item. There's a little bit more chance for interaction, and then so we can have a little polling after each agenda item. But with that, to the board, I've got the items of business on there, the minutes and the financials from the last meeting. Any questions on those? Consent
No.
items?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Tina?
Second.
I'll second.
Tracy's all in favor?
Yes.
Great, thank you. I think we still have.
No, Jim's gone. He was only here till 7.
Still have one, then a 4.
Right, I'm at 7:07.
And then I'm still at this.
Hmm.
Got it. All right, great. We'll work in progress. The last proposal was to add cameras that would be wired to streetlights poles that would be installed in that area. The price of that's pretty high. So we looked into getting solar powered units, so it wouldn't require the roughly $15,000 or so it's going to take to run power to 2 streetlights in that area. And we've got a proposal from our camera vendor for that. So that will enable the cameras to be extended from where they are now down the creek in between Sage Meadows, Cedar Brook area on the south side of Link Road, and also at the intersection of East Meadows and Link Road. So still working with the poles, we can get put up pretty affordably there. Both of them, the bid that Brian got was about $1,200 or so to put the 2 poles up. So if the board's in favor of that, that will allow us to put the solar powered ones. The compromise is then the LPR type camera at the East Meadows entrance. That would be challenging because the solar power one doesn't produce, it takes more power than the solar can provide.
Okay, and there's no LPR solar powered ones that.
He said there is, but they could put a solar module on an LPR camera, but LPR cameras take a lot more
Got it.
juice to run, and won't be adequate, won't be sufficient, to keep it running all the time.
How many cameras are you adding?
3 total. 3
Yeah.
total. Plus changing out the one at Link Mountain Meadows with LPR camera there. That one could be wired. That's different. There's power there. The association has a meter and power running to that intersection at Link and Mount Meadows. And so that one can be license plates, kind of like the city block cameras. I think that's what Monica was talking about.
Well, if we didn't have to stop, then I could have 30 miles an hour to a stop sign.
No, they can still catch them actually. Yeah, because it'll slow it down frame by frame.
Okay.
And I'd say probably 90% of the crime happening right now in our neighborhood is happening at night. And so we're not being able to capture the license plates, which is why I think it's really important for a license plate reader, because I can say, oh yeah, there was this car here, but it's dark, so I don't know what kind of car it was. I can tell you the type it looks like, and the license plate is blocked out by the light. And so I think if we're trying to give the police as much possible evidence to capture these criminals, we need LPRs.
So you just changed these cameras that's on Lincoln Mountain Meadow. These were just changed over, right? Maybe like a year or so ago?
I don't think so. I
changed, some new ones came in. I think
2000.
Jimmy was there and you had one kind of camera, and then the new guy came in and you had a different kind of camera.
The new guy didn't change the cameras.
The cameras were the same. There was some cameras that were replaced just because they weren't.
Yeah, so they were replaced, and they weren't replaced with license plate reader.
They was replaced with the same camera that was there. The camera was broken and needed to be repaired. So the new cameras were installed over the broken ones, right at the corner of Lincoln and Meadows.
But were those replaced?
There was at least, I think it was that PPZ at the park that Ryan put in, and the one in the corner.
The first one on the corner by the park.
Yeah.
Was it
the pole one? The first one.
Remember, it was
by the garbage bin area.
Yeah, it wasn't
okay.
showing
Yep.
anything on the screen.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Are you using some of those elsewhere?
I think altogether there's about 12 cameras. Is that right?
There's, let me see. I'll look right now. I think
Yeah,
there's 17, I believe. Let me look. I'm pulling it up right now.
yeah, East Meadows and Pine Creek Circle, Lake Mount Meadows. There's 1, 2, 3,
and the bridge,
and then the bridge and the
and then
the
side
and the trail.
Yeah,
leading to that the north end of Mount Meadows.
So the entrance on the other side, I'm trying to think here, is there gonna be a camera put on that side too?
There's 21 cameras.
Remember they were talking on
Mhm.
the side and the front, I'm trying to think, straight in Pine Creek.
Pine Creek, yeah, there's 2 cameras.
by the apartment complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
There's one, there's one there,
there's 2.
there's 2 there.
Not at the apartment.
No, at the entrance. Talking about the apartment and entrance. You know the main street thing.
There's
The entrance that comes into the homes there. On that side.
oh at Redwood Meadows and Pittman. Got it. Yes, there's 2 there.
There's no product.
They have a 99% of government.
Yeah, no, the association doesn't have a camera there at the corner by the ranch monument, where it says the ranch.
Yeah, the main is point there. Everybody enter there, they go faster over there.
Speeding around there.
Circle there. When you guys putting camera there?
Well, I think
Yeah, it's 17 camera, main important thing, you didn't put even one.
Well, the purpose was for the entrances.
The entrances, yeah.
The community, and while that is a concern out there, I know people are driving.
Even East Meadow and Lake Road, it should be up again.
That is.
That's what we've just that's what we've approved. We're working on getting that
There's
installed.
already one that looks down East Meadows from the park. But
That quality you can get from the house too, after them, maybe they can use the power. I don't mind on my house that we the power, I think it's on my house.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, then you can save 15%.
Right. Yeah, it's a trenching and running the power.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So if that license plate reader catches somebody speeding or doing that and alerts law enforcement, do they actually cite the person?
They can't. So that's a driving infraction, and that has to be personally viewed by a police officer in order for them to take any kind of citation or anything. It has to be done in the presence of a police officer for a traffic infraction. Now, if it was like a hit and run, that's a felony. So they can take the license plate and use that in as evidence for felony. Or like, for instance, what we just recently had an attempted car theft, and it was a small vehicle that came in and attempted to steal that car. Now we could use that license plate to give to the police because that's a felony. So in a felony, they can use the plates, but in a traffic violation or traffic infraction, it has to be done in the presence of a police officer. Now we can I don't know how Fairfield works in regards to like kind of intimidating or scaring someone. We can give them the license plate. Hey, this person's done donuts 3 times. And then they could do like a community service, knock on the door and say, hey, we've got you filmed, but they can't give them a citation or anything like that. But they could definitely do a knock and talk if the police officer would be willing to do that. But I don't know what the Fairfield PD's policy is on that.
Yeah, I hope they at least put them in a database if it's repeat offender.
Yeah.
Like, for example, CHP does, they send the letter. I don't know about the city, but the CHP do send a letter to the register owner if you provide a video or something. Just like, there's a school bus comes right here by the creek, they stop on the link road. If somebody runs a stop arm, you take a picture, you send it to them, CHP will send a letter to the register owner. That's the first warning. Second warning is $750 ticket. That's it.
We're more concerned about the speeders who are going through Link Road. Yeah. Would you guys consider maybe putting a couple of speed bumps in perhaps?
No.
Private street, just see speed bumps in parking lots and on private streets, but public streets in Fairfield, they don't allow it. All right, is there anything else on that? We've got,
No.
move on to landscape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, do we have to motion to
Nope,
approve? the
we've already
policy?
approved it. We're just discussing.
The landscape contractor has advised us of a pending landscape increase. Their costs going up 3% for this coming year. And I put the amounts on the email. That is on the
Page 49.
Thank you. On page 49. There you go. Having some 3% increase. Put the number down. So right now the landscapers our current monthly expense is $4,700 and $4,719 per month for Caglin Gorwitz landscape service. So what they're proposing is an increase to $4,860. So,
Excuse me, guys, I'm just gonna go back to the camera. I just can't get over that.
We-
You guys say new cameras and new cameras.
We're moving on
No,
to the next
we're
subject.
Moving on, but you never answered the question.
Well,
And that's all I'm saying.
well,
I
we're gonna
asked
move
about
on
the
for now.
cameras And you went right by it. We can't keep buying cameras and you put up new cameras. And new cameras going to, and you buying more cameras and more cameras. That's money out of our pocket. And that's unfair. If you can't explain it to us or be transparent with us, where is it going?
So we stated there's 2 cameras going on the walking trail by the apartments that will oversee the 2 courts going the whole creek and the 2 courts, Cedardale Court, and I don't remember what the other court's name is, but it'll be overseeing that whole trail, and then one will be at the entrance of East Meadows and Link. That's where the cameras are going.
Okay, so you're not putting up any more new cameras at the point.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I'm just
Well,
asking, 'cause I know-
let me backtrack on that. So we're going to take one of the static cameras that are currently on Mountain Meadows and Link. We're going to move that over to the apartments and then purchase an LPR camera. So we're moving current cameras we have to the creek, and then we're putting an LPR at Mountain Meadows. So technically, yes, there's a new camera going there, but we're moving an old camera that we currently have over to the creek because I feel like LPR is beneficial for our community. And so we're just moving some stuff around and getting a camera, an LPR to put
And
there.
I can agree with that. That's all I'm saying, just
Okay.
being transparent.
I didn't realize that was not answered. Yeah.
We're moving cameras.
Right, we're moving, but we're not adding more. Does that, I just want to make sure that,
We're not wasting money. We are actually moving them around. to
Correct.
Areas that will need them.
Correct.
And getting a new one where we need to have it.
yes,
Yeah, that's real good.
right, that's the plan. Did that answer? Okay, got it.
All right, so for landscaping, increase of about $140 per month for Caglin's service.
Didn't they ask us for an increase last August?
They did.
So then.
So is this a
would be-
yearly contract up for renewal in August? Is that when their contract is renewed?
That's their notice of when that.
Yeah,
this-
August 1st.
Okay, just making sure it's normal. It's not like they're raising it like mid-contract.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I think we need a new contract from them also in order to get Josie.
I think their contract allows for this, but we could always do a new contract.
Can I request that when there is trash in our landscaping for them to pick it up instead of pass by it? Because there was a blanket and a pillow and clothing in the landscape at Link and Mountain Meadows, and it sat there for months. And they don't pick it up; they just go by it. Also at Mountain Meadows and Link on the opposite side toward Cedar Creek, there's like someone stole Amazon packages, opened them up, and left them in the bushes, and they again cut around them but didn't pick them up. So if you can ask them, like if they're seeing garbage in our landscaping, if they could, obviously they're not going to take up little wrappers, but if there's big things like that, they need to be picking those up. Yeah, it'd be nice, but
That's part of the responsibility of the landscaping is
is it?
cleaning up
It
the
is.
garbage.
It is.
Okay.
We don't have,
Is that in their contract? Can you have them put that in their
is.
contract? Oh, it is?
It is. I've got
Yeah.
a copy of it. It's
Okay.
debris removal. Obviously, they're responsible for any debris that they create by cutting, but
Mhm.
also litter.
If it
supposed
states
to
that,
be-
then they're not doing it.
Yeah, cups, and McDonald's bags, stuff like
Okay,
that.
then we need to hold them
They're
accountable.
landscape area.
If we're paying them $4,800 a month, they need to be picking that stuff up.
needs to look pristine.
Put them on notice for that.
Is the landscaping committee responsible for the new paved trail?
Mhm.
What hangs over that new paved trail?
Mhm.
There are some things that the pavers, their trucks were quite big, and actually they hit some trees and took some branches. I actually went out with my own saw and cut one because it was a hazard waiting to happen. Look at these and take care of things that are.
Over the trail. Yes, they're responsible for 8 feet thickness over walking surfaces, sidewalks and pathways. That's included in the contract. Any other tree arbory work, because we had to have some, when the pavers were there, I had to have an arborist go out there and cut that one tree up. The truck to go by. That's different. That's not part of the contract. That trimming to keep it so it's not poking people in the eye. That is part of it. That is an.
But I think if we give them the increase, that we should make a recommendation.
On my side.
In order to get it, they need to do the following and list it.
Yeah, I've got 2 things on that.
So the thing, the cutback that they did right next to my house on the hill, it looks like they're gonna have to do it again because it's pretty tall over there. But my question is also, where the rock wall is, we have a, I guess it's a poison oak bush that's developing. And it's getting thicker and thicker every year. That they can spray some kind of poison on that. They said they would, but nobody's come by.
Okay. Yeah, there's turns out there's a lot of poison oak around the ranch because up on the hill behind your house, it's quite a bit up there.
Yeah.
I mean, you would expect there to be some.
Right. Not right there where it's,
Yeah, right.
And in the future, it's gonna get worse, so that's where that wall is, and we're gonna be putting your fence in,
Right.
so.
Just want to make a comment on the new black paved path. Generally, it's a good job done, but I think it needs to be seal coated because if we get another heavy rain this winter, it's going to start disintegrating because some of it's not been compacted. You can walk, you can tell where some of the stones are a little bit already beginning to come loose.
Can we reach out to them? Do they warranty their work?
Yeah.
Did they have it still coated in their contract?
No.
No.
It's
Okay.
just the hot rolled asphalt down, seal coating, sort of. You normally don't do that until it's time to start with water.
Maybe they need to come back and recompact it.
Might need to be re-rolled if they missed, they didn't have it compacted adequately.
Yeah, just re-roll and you can take a look at it. You just gotta walk down the path, you'll notice where it's kind of loose in some places.
Because I believe it's warranted.
It does have, yeah.
I believe it's warranted.
Yeah. You might want to ask them how much, to re-roll it and seal it.
Mhm.
That will help it.
Yeah, in fact, let's see. Let me give you the couple of other things for landscaping. So for landscaping then,
Are we in favor of the 3% increase provided they fulfill these,
Yeah,
points, the blankets and pillows?
I motion to approve that.
I second it.
There's that poison oak removal.
Yes.
Yep.
The fire prevention work is a combination effort between the landscapers, our landscapers, and the owners of the lot next to the ranch community, specifically the Nelson Hill area that we were just talking about with Monica before we on top. It took them a while this season, but they did come down. And for those that live along there, you've seen the crews come down and they disked that field and got it cleared up. Not really adequately though. We walked back out there with them about 2 weeks ago, and they agreed that there was still some tall grass. This year, because of all the rain, the grass grew fast and it grew really tall. So when they disked it over, it did turn over the soil a bit, but there was still a lot of long grass left over. It kind of ran through there kind of quickly, and it didn't look fire proof enough. They're back out there making dust and noise, and they got it turned over. It looks better. It looks a lot better now. So I think we're pretty good for the season. There's still some other fire prevention work that our landscapers will keep up with, which also includes along that rock wall. Your walk wall there, especially that part that's between the rock wall and the people's backyard. You know that little gap there.
Right.
That fills up with debris and stuff. There's some berry bushes and some other debris that's got to get taken out of there. That's just routine stuff that our landscapers are responsible for. So we'll take care of that part. But for the most part, we're knock on wood. There hasn't been any fires. It's not really quite the fire season yet, but I think we can say that we're prepared. There's still some tree work that probably still needs to be done. One that we'll be talking about tonight. We'll see. We got the letter from you. So firework that's just a status report on that. There's no new work to do. The silver gates have been pretty cooperative this year, and they've been out twice, including last Friday.
Have you had any conversation with them about removing the dead trees?
Yes.
That are up there on the hill?
Yes.
Behind my house?
Yeah, since last
Really
year.
close to my house.
Yeah. No, there's probably, as we were sitting there looking at it, Scott Lip is the fellow from the Silver Gates that I met with out there, and we were, kind of going through and counting them, and there's dozens. I mean, there's probably 60 trees on that whole hillside that are dead or dying. They're not going to make it. There's a lot. And some of them are big old heritage oaks up there. And they are. Our lawyer is a lawyer too, the association attorney, and so we're trying to keep the pressure on them to get all that dead growth out of it. There's tons of that last fire really did kill it. It looks like about half the trees up there, and there's a lot of fire fuel. So that. Now the trees that survive that are really, really close, like right up on the fence, we got those taken care of.
Yeah, there's one that's fairly close to my property.
Right.
Gives me some
Is it one
sleepless
that's
nights.
Is it one that's still alive? Is it still green?
No, it's dead.
Oh, okay.
It's very dead. It's very large.
Gotcha. Early amber stops finding it. Okay.
Yeah, I think the big fire that we had a couple of years ago, it took the fire department about 20 minutes to get to it.
My complaint was,
seven.
and then to hear that it would be 7 minutes
Yeah, it was
for a
20.
normal response time on emergency calls. I said, wait a minute, no.
What about the fencing that was damaged by the fire? Is that going to be coming up corrected soon?
Yeah.
Or is that kind of like not in the budget yet?
Well, everything's kind of careful on the budget. But yes, I'm aware that there's a couple of that. There's a lot of that stretch of fence down along the rock wall that needs to be repaired. We also now just have a new section of fence that's got to be fixed along the road. So we're still trying to go after the driver's insurance on that. I'm sure everyone has seen that big accident that happened out there. I think that was last Friday during the night, the 14th. And that new car drove through that fence.
Did you catch the guy? Yet?
Well, we got the police responded to that, and
It was a big accident.
The car was completely totaled.
Yeah.
That's the one just past down there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right by the third.
Yeah, that was just before we had our event. I think it was.
Yeah, I
Drove by
remember.
that and said, "How did that guy get there?" in that direction.
I know, I mean, it looked bad. There's a million pieces of plastic shattered.
They
stuff.
picked up the license plate.
But there was an incident for that. So
Yeah.
the police did come out and take a incident report, but I'm waiting for that. It was a drunk driving incident. So I'm waiting for the actual police report to get that insurance information because I don't want to have to hit the association's insurance again like we did for the other hit and run out there last year.
What I did is I worked around it because I don't have my fence done.
Right.
I just kind of put that screen so that when no critter coming in my yard.
Right. Let's keep it safe over there. That's good. It's good money. Okay, so
With the tree
on to
service.
Yeah, I got some tree work for the executive session time. The gravel road that I know we've talked a little bit about it already. The new path that went in there looking good. Maybe some little repairs that need to be done. But there's I wanted to explain because I think, including myself, I made the error when we got the bid for the paving. And I noticed the price of it. We brought it to the last meeting, and the cost was about $50,000 to do that paving out there. And I thought it was just, and we asked them to split it in half. I asked the company to split that in half. Remember, we were having a debate here about, for those that were here, that they would split that project into halves. So we would do half now and half later. And I was thinking, and I think even the board, some of the board members were thinking that meant that there would be the half that's on the side of Link Road that goes to Cordelia and the half that's on the Link Road down to the bridge to the basketball courts. But in fact, when we went back to do the and when I asked them to cut it in half, what they did was cut that first part in half. So this would be easier if I had a drawing, but the section that they gave us a bid for was is what you see now, from Link Road to basically to the bridge by the basketball court at the end of Dust Street. But when I asked them to cut it in half, I'm thinking that meant the two halves of the pathway that we wanted to have done. They cut that section in half. So the bid was for 18,750 square feet, and that section that is done now, that measures out to 18,750 feet. So that was the all of that was included in it. So when I asked them to cut it in half, they did do that. They gave us the two halves at 26,000 per unit. But I think me and some of the board members thought that meant both, that they were cutting it in half the other way. So when they were getting ready to be done, and we realized, wait a minute, what about the rest of the area? I know people came to me and they were like, please make sure it's going to include all the way down to Pretty Early Road. And that is the board's intention. That's been their plan all along. And it still is, even now. But after biting the bullet and spending the $50,000 for what got done so far, it left us a little bit short of being able to continue on. I have the bid to do that rest of that in the package tonight. It's another 48,000 to finish that down the rest of the way to Cordelia Road. Again, fully that is the plan to do, is to pave that complete trail. I think everyone knows that everyone used the whole trail. So that's been the plan all along. But that's what happened. That's why that second half hasn't been done yet. Board still wants to do it, have the bid to do it. It's just a matter of basically saving up a little bit so we can get to doing it. So it's a mistake on my part, on all of our parts, to recognize that the bid that we got from them was for 18,750 feet, and that only covered the portion that you see that was done. Hopefully that explains it, and I apologize for the misunderstandings that caused. But I think there's everyone in agreement. We're going to finish that.
Oh yeah, we're going to finish it.
That's for sure. Yeah, because it does look good.
My dog really appreciates it.
Yeah, right. And the kids on the bicycles and everybody else. It's a great. And even if it does need to be repaired once in a while, and it does, asphalt surface moves, it rain and stuff like that, but it's repairable.
And it's got a 1-year warranty on it. I just checked.
Yeah, and it's repairable and fixable. So in patches, it's actually easier to fix than concrete.
What's the timeline to get the other side done?
That's a good question. I don't have a definitive answer. Somebody else was asking me that earlier. I don't know. I don't know is the answer, honest answer, Sean. We got to make sure that we've got the adequate funds to cover that and the rest of the branch's expenses for the rest of the year. They're saving up quite a bit each month to get to there. So like about $6,000 a month or so is being saved for all reserve expenses. So it's got to make sure that the branch can afford to move forward and not put themselves in financial jeopardy.
Well, I'm sure the Sage Meadows and the Cedar Brook divisions would be fine with the Oak Highlands going ahead and bearing the cost with increased homeowners associations or dues versus us. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Right. I think it's.
I'm kidding, but I'm not.
No, I hear you. I hear it from everybody. And yes, that is that's still the plan. It's going to take a little bit of time to make sure that the community can afford it without putting themselves. There's still a lot of other things that we got to keep rolling, and paying for, a lot of expenses that the association's got to cover. But we're not far off from being able to do it. It's really just a matter of making a judgment call and when we can go ahead and make that investment without putting ourselves in financial jeopardy.
Can we say that our goal is by summer of next year?
Yeah.
Is that adequate?
That's more realistic than this summer.
Okay. So, Harpal, I hope I'm not butchering your name. There was the quote. We were under the impression that quote was for the entire length of the trail, but it turns out it was only for half of the trail. And it was unfortunately a miscommunication between us. And so that's why that happened. But our goal is to have that other side of the trail paved. Our goal is by next year. I hope that answers your question.
We paid what, $50,000 for that first section?
Mm-hmm.
And how long is that second section?
It's about 80% of the same length.
Yeah, you got it.
Did you say it was wider though?
It's wider.
Square foot.
But it's wider.
Yeah.
Well, the other one was 15,000 square feet. So it's
less, but it's wider.
Yeah.
13,770.
So it's about 2,000 square feet less than others, but they're actually giving us a discount on that because of the misunderstanding. They're discounting us, so they're not charging us for their labor. They're only charging us for material. Yeah, so they are giving us, because it was a misunderstanding on both sides, and so they're coming forward and giving us a rather valuable discount. Unfortunately.
For those of us who live on the other side will not have what you have for a full year.
Yes.
Okay. That I guess the next thing is for the social committee. Social. Go ahead,
Before you go on, any further, did you say that the walls are going to be repainted?
Yes, the walls are due to be repainted.
Well, at the last meeting, that was part of the discussion on whether or not we do that versus paving. And it was a consensus of you guys that you would rather put off the painting of the wall and get the paving done.
I just want to know when it comes time to paint it, if the color of the wall for
it'll be the same color.
Be a little darker.
No, it's going to be white.
To where it can pop out like the other ones.
They're all the same color, aren't they?
No,
they're all.
Are you talking about the walls or the rail fence or both?
Oh,
this.
The other ones.
The rail fences are white.
Have more contrast.
Gotcha.
Than what ours has. Mine has first.
Yeah, because the wall fence, like that's alongside of Sage Meadows and Cedar Brook areas, that's a solid wall panel, and that's kind of I'm going to say a goldish tan color, right?
It's kind of goldish.
And the rail fences, those are white.
Are there cement walls in Mountain Meadows side?
Not along Mount. Well, it's along.
No, it's the railing. We have Lincoln. We have railing.
Right, but those are white. She's saying the wall. What wall?
Well,
the monument
wall.
Talking about the monument.
The one that says Oak Highlands.
Oh.
And the fence behind it. There's not enough contrast.
Oh, I see. So that's like
you're talking about the monument.
come out at you. You know, it just kind of blends in there.
Are the monuments all the same color? Or are they different colors?
It was supposed to be the same color.
Yeah, they're pretty similar.
Maybe some get more sun than others, and maybe it bleached out a little bit.
Well, what happened was originally the monument walls were just, you had the beigey background, and then you had the lettering that was a dark color that created that contrast. But when they started falling apart and breaking and had to be replaced, I don't remember who it was that did it, but they came in and they made the sign with the painting and not the same as what it originally was, which created that more bland look. And so that's how it became the way it was. So it's something that when that time comes that we can, look into doing a contrast.
Yeah, because the letters could be, for example, they could be glossy black. That would be a lot of contrast. Right?
Yeah, you can make it universal for all the monuments so that everybody's is the same. So.
Yeah, it should all be the same.
Oh yeah,
color.
that's what I just said. Yeah, to make it all the same. Yeah, so you're going to do one, you're going to do them all because everything would have to be painted anyways. So, but when that time comes, that's definitely something that we can figure out what to do.
Would that be done at the same time as the railings then?
No, they're actually two separate items in our reserve study. So yeah, they're two separate. By the time, with all these car accidents that have been knocking our rails down and getting replaced, we probably won't even need to paint the rails. We've got all new ones and they'll be good for another 20 years. Huh?
This is the 5th accident.
I know. But yeah, they're two separate items. So
most of the accidents happen on 40-year road.
Except this last one.
Yeah, there's been 2 on Pittman, this one here along Link, and then you're right, the last 2 were along Woodland Road. There was another one before that. There's been 3.
There's been 3 on Pittman this year.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. The one that went into,
Which is why I like the idea of Monica looking into getting them paying for the cameras for a change.
I heard her say that too. She's talking about getting the LPR cameras that the county would pay for.
Just for those very,
that would be a Cordelia and Link.
Especially for making it.
No, I'm going to send out a letter.
Yeah, that's especially because it's not a.
Because there's even apartment whoever make a new one, I thought with the right, because they were renting out now. Right, they have more than
that would be great. That'd be great to get the.
Let me throw this on out here. You've got the park over in over in Oak Highlands. You now have the path over in Oak Highlands. You have the basketball courts over in Oak Highlands. You can't do water over at the park in Sage Meadows. Perhaps we can at least get some cameras over on that side. You have 2/3 of the homes in Sage Meadows and Cedarbrook. So I think it would be appropriate to have some focus on what's going on over on that side of the development.
So we have 2 cameras at the park at Sage Meadows, and then we also have 2 cameras at Redwood Meadows and Pittman. So the only location on, sorry, my mind just went blank. Sage Meadows, that's the East Meadows one, right? Sage Meadows is
yes.
The only location, that intersection that is not covered is East Meadows and Link, and we've approved a camera to be installed there.
I just think it would be appropriate to make sure that some of the demands that are happening from that side of the development are definitely met.
Right, and that's why we're working on approving that camera that has been requested on East Meadows and Link, because that's the one intersection going into that development that doesn't have cameras. All the other entrance has cameras, and the park has cameras there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, it's in process or already have some established.
Right.
What we're trying to do now is add more.
Yeah.
Rearranging.
We've already talked about that. Got the incident report, and waiting for the final police report. But we did already get the company out to examine the damage there. It looks like 2 posts and 4 rails.
For the hit and run?
No, there was.
They gotta-
There's a
yeah.
report.
That's the
Yeah,
drunk,
right.
that's the drunk
There's a
driver.
toad out of there. See, there's the kitty litter and the oil all over the place. There, 1,000 pieces of car and headlights and stuff. It was a pretty hard hit. I think the tree's going to be okay. There's a little bit of landscape damage too. Tree's missing a lot of bark, but it looks like it survived.
Time will tell.
Sounds okay. Okay, so for the social committee, King has been working hard on this. There's been 2 events recently. Country music was the theme the first time, kind of a rock-ish pop theme for this last one. People seem to enjoy both. The next social event is this coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
National Night Out. I got the big banners for that. Right.
I already put them up.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Thank you. So
I just
that's-
haven't put out this one right here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So next Tuesday night, and this one is a little different than the usual ranch event. This involves the whole city, and the city is going to have various events all around town. And so the local one here for the ranch will be in the park. The city will be coming out. There'll be probably stop and a police officer or 2, a fire truck or 2. This is actually goes on across the whole country. First Tuesday in August every year. And if the focus of it is crime prevention, neighborhood watch, just a reason for people to get out and meet each other, neighbors knowing each other, just kind of makes for a safer neighborhood in general. There'll be I'll be bringing the drinks and refreshments and stuff for we'll be providing that at the park. What else is going on?
So we've got 3 food trucks coming. We've got the taco truck from last year that everyone has been requesting. We have a new truck. It's Soul something, but they're going to be I believe it's a hamburger truck. And they're 5-star Michelin chef that runs that food truck. And then we're having the famous creation ice cream truck come out again. We'll also be doing DJ. Aaron will be doing the ice cream, the famous creation ice cream truck. And then Aaron will be doing the DJing again. He's on our social committee. And then we'll have a face painter and some games for the kids and stuff. So a good family event. And then October 21st is our Harvest Festival. So that one is fully catered. It's got live band coming, live R&B band coming, face painting, stuff for the kids again. So that one is October 21st. And flyers went out for both National Night Out and the Harvest Festival on every home this weekend. So everyone should have that invitation on their doors.
That was passed out by
In 100-degree weather.
By the board president.
Yes, almost had a heat stroke, but it got out.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Can't afford stamps for your mail.
Well, everyone, I'm trying to cut down on this budget, you guys.
I didn't get it.
Oh, yes, you did.
It's on your garage door.
Oh, you're funny. Maybe it flew away. I don't know, but it got on there.
So that's next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
No, 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
We keep trying to change time every year. It's 5 p.m.
5 p.m. at the park, Mountain Meadows Park, 5 p.m. next Tuesday night.
Yes.
It's August 1st.
Yes, August 1st.
August 1st, 5 p.m. Mountain Meadows Park. Hopefully you see everybody there. Those are a lot of fun. People seem to enjoy those. It's a good mood. It's a good sort of vibe at those events. Just happens that park is a nice place to do this kind of stuff. It's working out well. It's gaining some momentum, and we want to see a lot of familiar faces there, including both their county supervisor and city councilman. I guess the next things to talk about are the 2 different elections, right? So it's really just a status report for both. There's 2 elections going on now. One is for approval of the CCNRs and bylaws. You know, that's been going on for in one form or another for several years now. And
your number's wrong on that.
Yeah, the number it says 173 received, but it's 137. Actually, still waiting for the more recent update on that. 137 have been returned. And the thing about that CCNR election is, in order for them to have a chance of passage, requires 50% of the membership plus one to vote yes. So if, and the size of the community, the apartment complex and other features, is 398. So that means our magic number is 200. We need 200 ballots where people have cast their vote yes. So it's not like you get 200 ballots and then a majority of them lose. It has to be 200 yes votes. So until we get probably some amount over 200, they're probably not going to be open. And so that's an ongoing effort being run since for the past year or so. And that ballot is just going to have to be extended until it can be, so we can achieve enough response. Now, I know Tina went out and drove in quite a bit more. Others have been putting a lot of effort in that too. And thank you for those who have to get that response in. That's just an ongoing thing now. It's been for a while to try to get enough. Even if people vote no, we still have to get enough responses to be able to open. So whether they pass or not, it's going to be up to the people to decide. But hopefully, we can at least get up to 200 responses so that they can be open. And then that will be done by the election inspector, who's already been hired, who's just waiting to receive more ballots.
Hey, Rich?
Yes.
Yeah, question on that.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of mailings have been going out, those CCRs, these bylaws, and I haven't gotten everything. So my question is, have you guys investigated whether or not you can actually use DocuSign, PandaDoc, or some blockchain e-signature technology?
Yeah, I wish we could. That really would be more efficient. But as of today, in the California world of HOAs, we still have to use a piece of paper, ballot, envelope, mail, and type of thing. Now we can distribute copies of the documents electronically, no problem. A lot of people have asked for that, and I'm happy to give them to you. I happen to have some hard copies.
And they're on our website as well. They're posted on our website.
Posted on the website, and so the actual CCRs and what's being proposed,
But you have to
that is
return
the bylaws and the CCRs in a soft format. But in terms of being able to get people to respond via something like a DocuSign where they can vote online, that just doesn't exist yet in the HOA world. That may be someday, but not now.
It's hard to believe this internet.
I know.
I mean, this is an industry standard.
Right. But it's still stuck with these double envelope system. You put the ballot in one envelope and put that envelope into the other envelope, and then you have to sign it. So some of the ballots that we receive are not valid because they're not signed. And they all go to a different company. It's actually, as you may have noticed, a different company that's going on for the other election that happens to be also going on now too, for the directors. The board of directors and who's on it is elected each annual cycle. And this last time we started out, we had some people running for the board. We had 4 people running for the board. 2 withdrew, but just left the 2 left that were incumbents, Goodchild and Mr. Long. So the ballots went out, and so far, as of yesterday, I think they're up to 47 returned. Now, director elections are a little different. They have a different form or yesterday. So in order to be able to conclude that election, director elections are a little different. They have a stated in the ballot. So in order to conclude 160, director elections are a little different. They have a stated in the ballot. So most of the change in 160 director elections are a little different. Stated that power of the ballot. Most of the change in 160 more like how county have many ballots you receive, just count up the results and tabulate the results, and that will be sufficient to conclude your election. So do them in a little bit more timely manner because it's hard to get 160 responses. And now what happens now is the board have to extend the balloting period for that director election. There's only 43 things returned and 160 due. But when we do this, it does reduce the quorum requirement. You have to extend the balloting to accommodate getting more ballots. The standards drop from 40% of the membership, 160, down to 33%, I believe it is, of the membership, 133. So we'll make the target a little easier to achieve, but we still have to receive a total of 133 now in order to conclude the director election. So that's a separate matter from the CCNRs or anyone who says two different elections, two different issues, two different companies involved. With the company for the director elections and newer company pro elections, they have a website. If anyone needs to know about it, you can go to the website and request it there. You can also keep running track yourself of the of how many have come in. They post it on their website. It's really nice easy way for people to be able to track it.
You said two people withdrew.
Correct.
So when two people withdrew, are they taking more names to replace those two that withdrew?
There always, there's not, there was a period of time when people had to put their name in the candidacy.
There was a deadline.
Yeah, that period is over.
I didn't know if the deadline that you had enough individuals for voting. Can anybody else now still run?
If there had been more than two additional, anybody that wanted to run could have run if they had submitted their request application within the deadline. So if it had been two people, it could have been four people, it could have been six people, however many wanted to run. Even though two had withdrawn, the others would still be part of that election ballot. There just wasn't. And so all that's left are is the existing. But because the ballots are already out there, the election is already in process, we believe we have to do it.
It's already almost time to send out do the nominations again.
Yeah, so next year, me and Tracy and Gernal are all up for re-election, so you guys can take our seats if you want it. Feel free to run.
Yes, there'll be a deadline. There'll be a new candidacy period opened up and form will be sent out to everybody. And anybody who wants to can run for the board. Next, we're about to start that process for the next cycle, even though we're not finished with the last cycle. So
that's part of the problem with the old laws and the old CCNRs is that we had to go through this drawn out election procedures that would take forever, and we have to constantly getting people to get their votes in, and by the time you get it done,
it's time to do
it's time to start all over again. And it's frustrating. And so that's why with the new laws and the CCNRs and the new bylaws, once the CCNRs are approved, will then make it so that votes go out, one set of ballots will go out, whoever sends it back, that's what it is. Those are the results. So that we don't have to keep repeating this process and costing more money.
If I understand this correctly, until the CCNRs are approved,
it will have to continue.
We have to go by our original CCNRs.
It has to continue with the way it has been to this point until the new CCNRs are approved.
There's betterment in the CCNRs that we want to get approved than there was in the old outdated ones.
We're still stuck with the old outdated.
Trying to incorporate the new laws and still having to abide by the old CCNRs as well. Go ahead.
Are you just amending the CCNRs, or are you completely redoing?
It's completely being redone, and it's by having it redone is taking out all the old director crap that was there from when they built the community and including the new laws that are established and making it part of our CCNRs, as well as getting rid of all the junk that was there before that no longer applies. Very much. We're taking CCNRs that were this thick and we're making them this thick, if that, maybe.
I think they're 59 pages.
Yeah. So, significant change.
A lot of stuff being taken out.
Yeah, because the previous ones were like 300 pages and the new ones are 59 pages.
Well, the original ones were put together by the developer, and a lot of the language contained in them was to do with protecting the developer's interest. So it had things like Class A, Class B voting.
Yeah.
Things that are obsolete once the developer's off the property, which they've been off the property for a long time. So,
like you can't store any personal property in your garage. You can't leave your garage door open unless you're pulling your car in or out. Like it had some crazy stuff in the bylaws.
And there isn't any way to be able to explain them to let's say, like you have a meeting.
We have had those meetings. We have had those. I don't know how long you've been here. Yeah. So there were
in 2019 we did.
Yeah. In fairness, it was
before COVID.
And we had this big meeting.
Then
we had two meetings.
Yeah. And then
I'm guilty for not coming.
Yeah. So we had two. We had two where we had
one on Zoom and we had one in person.
Of anybody to ask any questions, review it. all of that sort of stuff. And we did have some people, had some questions and a couple of changes
We
were
had to
made.
redo we have to redo them completely and put them back out again. That's why we're on draft 4.
Right.
Is because either the laws keep changing, so then we have to update it, or the first one was redrafted because homeowners didn't like some of the things that were in there, specifically the rent restriction. So basically it was saying that we couldn't have more than 25% rental properties in our development. And people didn't like that. So we took the rental restriction out, and that made us have to redraft the whole CCNRs.
And then the 2 subsequent drafts have been the laws that have changed that we've had to update because we haven't passed the CCNRs yet. What was the question?
Has anybody seen the movie Groundhog's Day?
Right.
Right.
Listen, everybody, this has been going on and on and on and on and on. I mean, it's about time we started talking to our neighbors and saying, just sign the damn things one way or the other, either, say yes or no. I mean, it's ridiculous how long this has gone on.
We need 100 more votes.
Yeah, I mean,
Rich said he had a community that took 10 years to pass their CCNRs.
Famously locally here, Rancho Solano, they never did finish it. They just went to court and had the judge make a ruling on it. They got so desperate after so many years of trying. They went.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, they went and got relief from the court. And they just said, all right, well, here's the ballots we got, Your Honor. We didn't take Thorn, but of our 1,800 homes or whatever out there, we got this many responded. We've spent X thousands of dollars. Can you just make a judgment? And they did. And that's when the guy CCNRs up there. That's an option, but it's an expensive option.
I mean, this is a small group right here, Rich. I mean, we've had, last time there's like 30, 40 people. If those people would have just talked to 2 or 3 of their neighbors, this would be done.
Right. That's right.
Maybe if there's a way to, maybe speak to them individually.
I've sent out text messages and emails for all the contacts that we do have on file.
It's to the point, it's not the board's responsibility to do this. The board are a bunch of volunteers. It's our responsibility to get this thing done. I mean, talk to 3 or 4 of your neighbors.
No, that's Sean. That's what I want to do, is try to help out.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
So if there's any way to help out, I'd like to.
Yeah. Maybe we can just start having a group go door knocking. I don't know. I mean, maybe we can do that.
I've been passing out ballots. Tina's been.
Do you have door knockers?
I door knocked the whole community this weekend. I did it.
Anybody who,
it can't be on the shoulders of the board. The board are here as volunteers. It's up to all of us.
That's nice.
And so what Tina's been out there.
If you sent your vote and you didn't have one on your door.
Right. Anybody who's gone.
What do they do if we have a lot of rentals?
Yeah.
Especially on our side.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
a lot
point.
of the rentals are owned by corporations.
Correct.
not owned by individuals.
That's correct.
Mhm.
So we'll send the
They're not
ballot
by vote.
to the, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And you're right.
Somebody had, and see if there's
I mean,
somebody.
the motivation is not there.
You're correct. That's correct. Especially sometimes the property management company.
Renters.
And they don't vote. You're right. That's a problem.
Right, do we have, is the number skewed? I mean, are there more renters than we've got the number that we need?
No, I think there's still an adequate amount of.
We have enough homeowners.
Where are we with the apartments?
The apartments voted.
Oh, and that's included. in that
Yeah,
number?
that's included in that number. So realistically, we have 70 homes that have voted so far. 70 homes out of 334.
And the apartments are the hardest ones.
Yes, and we got those votes in.
Oh.
So
it's the homeowners that are doing it.
it's the homeowners. Yes.
That's right. So waiting for.
So getting other homeowners that are willing to go out and say, hey, get your vote in, let's get it resolved one way or the other. That's what we need, because we as a board, we've only done as much as we can do.
Yeah. Now the catch-22 is we can't give the names of the people who have not voted. That is illegal. We checked. It is illegal for us to say, okay, guys, homes, right? We can't give you their names. So all we can do is have you guys talk to your neighbors and say, hey, if you haven't voted yet, please vote. And if you need a ballot, right. Tina will bring you one. Yeah. Just let her know, and it'll be on your door.
Can we download the new CCNRs?
They're on the website.
They're on
the old CCNRs and the new CCNRs are on our website. The ranch HOA Fairfield.com.
There's no excuse for anybody to have not seen them or have not read them or have not reviewed them. They've been out forever.
True, but we have had new homeowners, so we have to give them a little leeway
Since you asked.
or just reminders.
I happen to have, set here.
I loaded up.
We voted.
I'm gonna start working on it, but
I was like, that's very busy.
the thing is that, you know, we're all.
Yes,
I go this way.
I can bring you one.
You can read this.
I can bring you
paper
one.
when you're selling
I've
the
got them
house.
at my house. I can bring you one.
You can do this much.
Bring you two? What's your address?
Yeah, because you're getting paid for, that's why.
4318?
Trinity Meadows.
Got it.
You know, would it be possible to do just a one-page flyer, kind of summarizing the key differences between the old?
We've asked, but the attorney literally wiped out the old ones and rewrote the new ones. So there's no way.
If I was door knocking, what would I say to my neighbors about the new ones?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they're all
Just
brand
tell
new.
them read the paper.
Guys, this has been talked about the last 6 months.
And in fairness to people, you know, it's not the most exciting subject, especially when there's not something earth-shattering at stake. You know, it's just it's cleaning up the language, bringing them up to speed with the current law. At first, they had a pretty significant restriction that was being proposed to put a cap on the amount of rentals. But the feedback was, I would say, relatively fierce and early and often.
Aggressive.
We don't want no rental restriction, which is unusual. Most usually in the HOAs, the homeowners who live there and occupy their house, they usually are in favor of a cap on the number of rentals. It's the realtor lobbies and stuff like that. No disrespect to realtors here, but the realtor lobbies that in Sacramento that have pushed back against HOA's rights to put rental caps on their properties so that interferes with, you know, sales and they see it as a takeaway of property rights. But surprisingly, the community said no, we don't want a rental restriction, so we took it out. We modified them to remove those provisions. That took several pages out of the CCNR. So now they really are just a cleanup of their laws and straighten out some of the ambiguous language. And in fairness to the developer, when they wrote those original CCNRs, they didn't. The O'Briens weren't even thought of that. You know, so there was still a lot of things left in there that weren't completed in the various phases.
Finish this up. Only 100.
Much more of these.
Yes. Yes, I would highly encourage you to do that.
I haven't had that time. That's the reason I missed our 2 events.
I've been busy too.
Listen, we had come on out that basically, you know, shut down the garden. Let's see if we can get as many people to sign the damn CCNRs.
Right.
That's Val that did it.
Right.
Val, you're it.
Well, all of you, just so you know where these rules come that we're governed by is the Davis-Sterling Act, it's California Davis-Sterling Act. If any of you have a question about something, we have to follow that policy. We don't just make them up. We don't put things into CCNR that we make up to make you think that we're just doing something. We have to follow these rules. And when they change, there's governing bodies that change these rules. And then we have to amend things or add them to our rules or policies in order to be compliant with those rules. And this is why we are so far behind that we can't enforce them if we don't have them in our governing documents. So this is what we're trying to do, is to be caught up and to be accurate with the current laws that we're supposed to be following.
Well said, thank you, Sharon. Is there any other questions or comments on that, or about anything else? Not sure how many people have said.
We've got a new committee in the CCNR election committee group headed by Val.
So we have to have a date.
We just had a new committee formed, the CCNR
Next
elections.
next HOA
Chairperson
meeting
is
will
now
be the
Val.
ballot count at the end of that.
In your nomination.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Do we have to use our next meeting date as our next
Well, you know, Erica said
extension, or do we want to have it sooner?
for the CCNR voting, Erica says yes, but for the director election, it's supposed to be within the next month. So we'll just have to keep it going, announce a new meeting date, announce it to everybody, and along with, I'm envisioning a newsletter flyer thing that's urging people to get their vote. In that case, since we're using pro elections at other company, people can get their ballot online. There's literally, they can even show you. You can go.
Yeah, that election, that company has been pretty good about sending emails out. And they're pretty cool. I like that. Hey, you haven't voted, get your vote in.
Second tab. Okay. Yeah. So you can go to this pro-ei.com. Anybody can. And if you go to that current elections tab under there in the white swipe, yeah, right there. You go there, click, and then go down to it's the ranch. So you go down to the T's, and then get to the T's there. There you go, the ranch HOA in the middle, and that tells you that there is 2 candidates. I think you got to scroll up a little bit. Yeah, 45. So we've got 45 as of now. 2 candidates. You can request your replacement ballot right there. It's got the dates, times,
that's
numbers,
pretty
stuff
cool.
like that. So that is kind of nice because it lets people kind of self-service and get the copy of the ballot if you need it. Because their ballots are a little fancier.
So that's good to tell the people you call.
We can't see for those of us who are remote, but maybe you can send out the link.
I'm doing it right now.
Right on.
It's a different election inspector, so we can't do that for the CCNRs.
Right.
No, but for the board.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Cool.
Again, any other questions? Any other questions, anybody? Thank you all.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. And you may have already discussed it before. I know Link Road is a public street, and we don't have any control over that. And it's about the mobile home that's parked, and whoever's in it, they're quiet. I never see any movement or anything. But
nobody's living in it.
Oh, nobody's living in it.
No, it's a rental property is parking it there.
Why can't we call abandoned? It's all public storage on the
street. Okay.
Yeah. And so I reported it to Fairfield PD, but you guys can report it as well. It is an oversized vehicle, and it does violate the ordinance on that street. Fairfield will eventually get to it, but he moves it every 72 hours. And so Fairfield can't do anything as long as it's moved every 72 hours. So he switches the side of the street it's on. And so there's nothing really that can be done as long as he's continuing to move it.
There's an opportunity as a community to get every single person to start reporting it.
Yeah.
He also had a sewage truck come out and drain the sewage this weekend on the street. Yeah.
Yeah, the van parked right here.
Certain sides of vehicles aren't allowed.
It's your neighbor. It's our neighbor.
No.
It's the one.
It's your neighbor.
We don't want to point anybody.
He's closer to tasting. Yeah. He's actually in the middle of the urinal.
We don't want to identify anybody.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, because I know even if someone was living in it, sometimes that can be an invitation for others to move and park their homes there. And I just don't want to drive out and see tents all down Link Road. I mean, that's my concern. And I might be over exaggerating, but
no, you're not. You're not.
Yeah, I watch TV and I see Sacramento area, and I'm just, oh my God, these people, when they bought their homes there, they did not anticipate this. So that's my only concern. But thank you for telling me that it is empty.
Take a picture, send it on in to Fairfield PD.
Okay.
If everybody would do that, even on this call, there'd be enough momentum to hopefully do something. But everybody sees to walk by on their daily walks, snap a shot, send it into the PD.
And there's an app that you can report it to. It's My Fairfield. Is it My Fairfield app?
It's perfect for streetlights, abandoned vehicles, garbage.
And you can just go onto the app, do abandoned vehicle, upload the picture, and it's done. It can be done in 30 seconds or less.
Okay, you notify the homeowner?
We have. It's been an ongoing issue.
Again, this isn't a board issue. This is a neighborhood issue. If everybody just does their part, we can take care of these things. Don't rely on the board. These are volunteers that are already burdened.
Thank you, Sean.
You're being elected to the next board election.
I already read through my.
So yeah, there's an app that's called My Fairfield.
Yep.
It's a little green symbol there, and it's really handy for graffiti, issues in the park, even speeding in traffic. Let you report there, and you can move the.
Now, maybe the things that we can do.
I find that they respond to it. When I put streetlights in there, I'll always get a little email from that seller.
One of the things we might be able to do, Rich, is maybe we could put a sign up somewhere, maybe it's in the community information, to say if you see something, this is take a picture. This is who you email it to. Maybe they could help us with the homeless. It could help us with the abandoned cars. It could help us with the cars that are kind of abandoned.
I do want to thank the community because there was a gentleman sleeping in his Acura in front of the Mountain Meadows Park, and he was coming every night. And there was about 6 neighbors reporting him to the PD. And PD said they couldn't do anything because he was on a public street. However, with him continuing to get contacted by the PD, after about a month, he stopped camping in our neighborhood. So that was a large part of multiple community members. And so I do want to say thank you for that support.
Awesome.
Well, that's a good suggestion that Sean just said to
Post it.
that.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good idea too. Joyce, you have a question.
Who trims the trees around the street lights?
That we have commissioned arborists to come in and do that on, so that was a little bit beyond the landscaping work. So we commissioned a tree company to come in on occasion to do that for the common area trees. Now, that's for the ones I plant by the house.
Across the street from 42 rows that you get buying for.
That's a homeowner tree, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's homeowner.
The majority of the trees are homeowner trees, but if you're talking about the ones in the park, the sycamore trees.
Yeah.
That's
no,
the
it's
right. Oh, I see.
the
So
corner of property on the corner, it's useless property.
right, I got you. Yeah, no, the people, and I apologize in case anybody here was recipient of the letters. And those people here did get those letters. I'm sorry about that. But there had some accidents. Some vehicles were hitting the trees, and so we rode up everybody up and down the street, and it was a lot of people.
No, it's 60 letters.
And I've been noticing it's gotten better. So a lot of people have responded and take care of it. It's obvious who has. So it's a sort of a chore for the board to just make sure, remind people that please trim their trees so it's not hitting the FedEx truck or the the mail truck or the whoever that's driving down there. It's 14 feet clearance over streets requirement, 8 feet over sidewalks.
And that's a city ordinance too.
So we remind people about that from time to time.
Anybody else have to cut their tree down?
There's a lot of people, yeah, over the years, a lot of people have had to get trees, do a lot of things. Roots break up driveways.
I'm talking about that fire light.
She's
yes,
talking about that email she sent us.
With pear trees. Right?
Yeah,
There's,
apple trees.
Fruitless Bradford pear trees. They get that fire blinder. It just kills them pretty quickly. Nasty thing. It's affecting pears all over the state. Yeah, there's nothing can be done from what I understand. There's nothing.
That was my shade from the south.
Yeah, I know. They're a nice lollipop tree, and the nice white flowers in the spring. You know, but
I don't know what kind of tree was it.
It was either a aristocrat or a Bradford pear tree, fruitless pear tree.
Oh,
So
I don't know, but my house is metric now. No.
yeah, I know. That's the Sunday. Okay, everybody.
All right,
Well,
meeting adjourned.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your participation.
Yeah, I think it would work.